20 Palestinians are martyred in yet another day of Israeli aggression on Gaza. Iran, the work begins in the conference of the Syrian National Dialogue held in Tehran. Units of the Syrian Arab Army strike the hideouts of terrorists, killing and wounding many of them. Good afternoon, welcome to our news bulletin. I'm Dania Nizam. The terrorist Zionist entity continued its aggression on the besieged Gaza Strip. The Israeli war machine continued to strike the Palestinian towns, villages and refugee camps with the missiles of its evil grudge for the fifth day running, killing 19 martyrs and wounding dozens of people. This brought the number of martyrs to 50 and the numbers of the wounded to nearly 500. 2 Palestinians were killed and 16 others were wounded, including 6 people working in the Space TV channel of Jerusalem in raids by Israeli warplanes on 2 houses in Beit Lahia and Beit Hanun. 4 other victims were killed and dozens of others were wounded when Israeli forces attacked the central part of the Gaza Strip. Another air raid near Rafah led to the death of 5 Palestinian victims and the wounding of several others. Israeli warplanes also attacked Al Maghazi refugee camp. Another air raid on the northern part of the Gaza Strip led to the death of 1 Palestinian and the wounding of a woman and her 4 children. Israeli warplanes also targeted the headquarters of the Palestinian government, destroying it completely, together with the police headquarters to the west of the city, the Islamic University, a sports stadium and some houses. In retaliation, the Palestinian resistance struck Tel Aviv with Fajr rockets and other local-made missiles. They also hit the airbase of Hatzrim, Asdod, Iskol, Sderot and Ascalon with various rockets. They shelled several other military positions, wounding 21 Israelis, including 3 soldiers. The Palestinians also shelled an Israeli military position to the east of Khan Yunis. Israeli radio admitted the death of 1 settler by rockets that hit Bir al-Saba. Israel announced that it carried more than 800 air raids on the Gaza Strip and renewed its threat of a large-scale land attack. Israel called 20,000 reserve soldiers urgently to service. Russia and Jordan called for an immediate halt of military operations in the Gaza Strip and for self-restraint by Israel and the Palestinians. Mr. Lavrov asserted to his Jordanian counterpart that the Israeli escalation was worsening the human conditions of the Gaza Strip. The Foreign Minister of Mauritania, Hamadi Ould Papa Hamadi, asserted his country's support and solidarity with the Palestinian people. The American President Barack Obama supported the Israeli aggression. The White House said that the U.S. supported what it called Israel's right to self-defense. He expressed hypocritical regret for the loss of civilian lives. Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah, Secretary General of Hezbollah, asserted that the Israeli forces of occupation were taken by surprise a few days after their criminal aggression on the Gaza Strip, when the Palestinian resistance men retaliated, showing a wonderful image of Palestinian wisdom and ability to confront aggression. Mr. Nasrallah asserted that the Palestinian people embraced their freedom fighters and forced friend and foe to respect their attitude. The Minister of Information, Al-Zoubi, asserted that France's adoption of the opposition council manufactured in Al-Doha would never add any new political value to it. This attitude exposes again the involvement of the French leaders with Turkey and Qatar in supporting terrorism in Syria. The minister added that the failure of the first stage of the plot of aggression in Syria has pushed the plotters to try to make political gains through lengthening the period of the crisis in Syria and continuing to exploit the opposition as a pretext for this hostile attitude. The minister asserted that the French and the American attitudes have become clear. However, there is a difference in their approach. The Americans are convinced that the first stage of the plot has failed. Mr. Al-Zoubi asserted that the meeting of Al-Doha has produced another version of the Turkish structure of the opposition in Istanbul, which had already failed in calling for foreign military intervention in Syria. The minister asserted that the manufacture of the new council in Al-Doha was a declaration of war on Syria. This council refused dialogue, the Geneva Communique, the Annan Initiative, and any peaceful action to end the crisis. On the contrary, the council only called for more weapons and military support. In Tehran, the conference of the Syrian National Dialogue began its work. The Iranian Foreign Minister Ali Akbar Salehi asserted that the crisis in Syria was exported from abroad and that foreign intervention in Syria would explode violence in the whole region. He pointed out that the conference could become an important step to overcome the crisis. He asserted that some foreign parties were trying to cast away any peaceful solution and to support violence through irrational steps, arming terrorist groups in order to escalate the crisis. He called for supporting the efforts of the UN envoy and commitment to the implementation of Annan's plan and the Syrian proposals to solve the crisis. Syria is a vital part of the Middle East region and a successful model of peaceful coexistence. The chairman of the Iranian Shura Majlis, Ali Larijani, called upon the states of the region to stop sending weapons into Syria to exasperate the situation. He called for sending such weapons to the Palestinian resistance men to enable them to confront Israeli aggression. He considered such regional states mistaken in their attitude. He also expressed appreciation of Syria's firm stand against the Israeli aggression and its support for the resistance men for a long time. He renewed Iran's attitude of supporting the Israeli aggression and condemned the silence of some Arab and Islamic countries which did not condemn Israel's vicious crimes. The Syrian Arab army units continued their national duty of dealing with the terrorist groups in Aleppo and its countryside, inflicting heavy casualties among them. A unit of our armed forces destroyed the hideouts of terrorists in Handarat, killing and wounding dozens of them. In Dar Azza, a unit of our armed forces completely destroyed 2 hideouts. Other units targeted a terrorist group on the highway to Al-Misalmiye and destroyed 4 vehicles carrying terrorists and ammunition. They also destroyed 5 vehicles full of weapons in Kafar Amma. In Aleppo, a unit of our armed forces destroyed terrorist groups that used to create panic in Tel al-Zarazir and the Jibrin station in Aleppo. The citizen Muhammad Isa al-Jassim was kidnapped, tortured and murdered by terrorists because he joined a demonstration calling upon the terrorists to leave the neighborhood. Terrorists fired mortar shells on crowded housing areas in Al-Mazzeh in Damascus, killing and wounding several citizens and causing material damage. The first shell fell on a girls' school, damaging its walls and the neighboring houses. Another shell fell on 2 houses and caused damage in one of them and destroyed another house under construction. There were no human victims. Also in Al-Mazzeh, an explosive device weighing nearly 50 kilograms was detonated by terrorists under a vehicle in Al-Jalat sports town. This led to the burning of 4 other vehicles and caused material damage. In Damascus countryside, the terrorists targeted the residential neighborhood of Jaramana by a mortar shell that landed in the crowded street of Al-Basir, killing 8 people and injuring 20 others. The terrorist attack also inflicted heavy material damage, destroying many cars and buses which were passing in that street. In Deir ez-Zor, a Syrian Arab army unit clashed with a terrorist group in the neighboring of Al-Jbaili, killing and injuring many terrorists. Among those killed was one known as Abd al-Rahman Saleh al-Khalifa al-Haboush, who is a member of Al-Muhajirin group, which is affiliated to what is called Al-Nusra Front. Another Syrian Arab army unit targeted a group of terrorists in Al-Bukamal in Deir ez-Zor countryside, killing many of them, including Muhammad Amin al-Qashqa, Omar Muhammad al-Qashqa, who are from Jisr al-Shughur in Idlib, in addition to Saeed al-Raja, Ahmed al-Matroud, and others. With this, we reach the end of our news. More news on our website. Stay with us with Vani after the break with our economic news. God bless Syria and God bless you all.